sit down and talk about my Orif surgery experience and recovery and anything that comes along with a proximal humerus fracture and having a metal plate in your arm. So it's been 5 months and like 6 days since my surgery. I'm gonna start this off by saying that I'm not a medical professional. I'm not telling you how it's gonna be or how you should recover or how quickly you should be able to do something, because everyone's experience is different. We all recover different. We all have different problems that develop because of this injury or because of the surgery. It's different for everyone. Just know that this is my experience and a few tips or ways I cope. I broke my right proximal humerus on February 15th, 2020. Some people might want to know how it happened. It wasn't cool. It wasn't like a cool story I can tell anyone. It was just, I slipped in the tub really randomly. Like, I wasn't moving funky or anything. I was just opening the shower curtain and I started slipping. And yeah, then I just sat there with the shower running. I was like, oh, I think my arm is broken. I don't remember much other than I felt super nauseous and it felt like I was going to pass out, but I didn't. My husband somehow put a shirt on me, like a tank top and some leggings. And some people might have called the ambulance, but we took the bus. I remember like holding my arm like this, like down here. The whole bus ride, I was just like, oh God. And every time the bus like jumped, I could feel my bone like just grinding. So we ended up going to the hospital. We got there maybe an hour after I slipped. I don't know, I think we were there for like 5 hours maybe. I couldn't go to the toilet. I remember this because like, how do you go to the toilet if you have to hold your arm, you know? I'm sitting there holding my arm still. Just like, yeah, you're probably gonna need a surgery. And I was like, so in that moment I felt really, really horrible. I broke my right arm. I couldn't do anything. I needed help with everything, from going to the bathroom, changing pads, whatever, getting dressed, showering, making food. I couldn't change diapers. I couldn't hold my daughter. I couldn't do anything. So yeah, this kind of injury is rough. I don't have an x-ray from the original break. What I did do is when we got home, I drew it out for my family. And here you can kind of see like, this is I guess the bone, and it kind of snapped. I drew that with my left arm. I guess it kind of looked like this. Like, this is my shoulder and it kind of snapped off. She told me I need a surgery. I could have opted for natural healing, but she said it's best with that kind of displacement to do a surgery. I had to wait 5 days. They put me in this sling. I can blend in a picture. It was super uncomfortable. The whole week I was in so much pain and I was only allowed to take like paracetamol 500 because I was still breastfeeding. So for 5 days I was just in that uncomfortable sling. I don't think I took it off at all. I know the next day I bent over the tub so my husband could wash my hair because I never got to that in the shower. It was definitely not a great experience. And then yeah, the morning of my surgery, we went in super early. My mom came to take care of our daughter. I'm pretty sure I was like the second surgery of the day, so I got called in quick. I was super terrified of the general anesthesia. I have always had a fear of like, you know, when they put the tube down your throat so you breathe. Yeah. So I was terrified that I would like wake up and like choke on it or something. I don't know. But I was terrified. The whole 5 days I was so scared. I had considered a bunch of times calling and saying, you know what, I'll go natural healing, whatever. In the end, I guess it was the best option to do the surgery. And after the surgery, I woke up and nobody was talking to me. I had so many questions. I was confused, obviously. You know, I had just woken up from surgery and nobody was talking to me or answering my questions. They put in a nerve block and I couldn't feel like this whole side of my body. So I woke up confused because I couldn't feel my arm. I looked under the blanket like, oh, okay, it's still there. And in the recovery room, all the nurses were just ignoring me. Like, they kept walking by me and I was like, hello? They drove me through the hospital on the bed and then they left me in a hallway. I'm pretty sure the surgery lasted an hour longer than expected because they said about like 1.5 to 2 hours. But my husband said I was gone for like 3 to 3.5. I don't know how it went. I don't know if they had complications. I don't know anything because nobody told me anything. I got into my room and I really had to go to the toilet, you guys. But I was so scared to move because I couldn't feel my body. So I was scared that I would like lean on it wrong or like hurt my arm. So 3 different nurses came in and were like, you know what? I'll go ask the person who's in charge. 4th nurse came in and she was so pissed off. She was just angry and moody and pretty rude. I asked her if it's all right if I get up and go to the bathroom. I'm laying there so confused. I just woke up from surgery. I don't know what's safe, what, you know? She yanked me out of the bed. Like, dude, you could have just told me I'm allowed to safely get up and I would have attempted it. But no, she pulled me out of the bed and snapped at me and she was like, you can do whatever you want. I was super dizzy and I like slowly made my way to the bathroom. I couldn't feel anything. So thankfully my husband was there because nobody else would have helped me go to the bathroom because she left again. I woke up, it was like 3 in the afternoon, so I could have gone home and taken my painkillers at home like I had been the whole week. But they would not let me go home. They said, if you leave right now, we will delete all your files and all your x-rays and all your surgery information, I guess. I don't know. They wouldn't let me leave. And I was like, well, I kind of have to go home because I have a daughter and she will not sleep without me. They're like, yep, but we will just delete all your stuff. And no doctors were talking to me. I had so many questions. I wanted to know, like, what's safe? What can I do? You know, the typical post-surgery questions. The nurse just snapped at me and said, there's no more doctors here today. They're all at home. And it had already been like 4 p.m. when I asked for a doctor instead of a nurse, you know, like someone who had been there and who knows anything about my surgery or my injury. But nobody came. And then they basically forced me to stay there. The whole night, I did not get a single painkiller, even though I was allowed to have 2 paracetamol at a time. Pain was even worse than the initial break and that whole week of no surgery. I called in the nurse, you know, because they said to ring the little bell if you need anything. So I called her in and I asked, like, could I please have more painkillers? I'm allowed to have so and so many. And she was like, no, sorry, you're not allowed to because you're breastfeeding, which was not true. I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand, it was just the worst pain. I rang the bell again after like half an hour or 40 minutes and I asked for an ice pack. And she basically threw the ice pack at me. The pain was so unbearable. I was nauseous and I was so dizzy. She came back and she was so rude. She's like, you can't have painkillers. Stop ringing the bell. And after at like 4 in the morning maybe, I asked for another ice pack because the ice pack had gotten hot. And then a bunch of doctors came in. They didn't answer any of my questions. They just said, yeah, you know, do whatever is comfortable. The surgery is over. I had questions about how to wear the sling right. I have no idea, but nobody answered my questions. The nurse came in and she was like, you can wear it however you want. Just, you know, and then she roughly put it on me and like pulled my arm around and it hurt so bad. And I was just like, dude, like what bit everyone up their ass? We finally went home and I finally got painkillers and they took an x-ray. The surgery itself was called an Orif surgery, which is an open reduction internal fixation. I think I had my stitches pulled out about a week later. And I was told the stitches would dissolve on their own, but my doctor pulled them out. And it So gross. So, physical therapy during COVID-19. I had 2 sessions of physical therapy about 3 or 4 weeks after my surgery, and they just, passively moved my arm and told me to do my pendulum swings. And every time I asked my physical therapist a question about like motions I'm allowed to do or things that are safe, she would be like, ask your doctor. And when I asked the specialist or doctor, anyone really involved, they said, ask your physical therapist, because it's like a movement thing, So it was just a back and forth. I'm gonna include a few like little videos. I'm sorry if they're bad quality, but I just took them so I would be able to look back and see, or if I had like questions at the doctor's so I could show the doctor. Sometimes I have like little orange patches
It's okay.
in my hand. I was allowed to take my sling off to shower, and I was told that I should be like letting my arm hang around. So I did that as soon as it got like comfortable enough, because it used to like hurt and pop around. The first like 3 or 4, maybe 5 weeks, every time I would let my arm hang, after maybe 10 minutes or so, it would start like popping uncomfortably and like grinding around, I guess. It made me really nauseous. The first few weeks, when I showered, for example, I would have it like hang by my side, and my hand would turn purple. Just my hand, like starting here, it would just be kind of like purplish bluish. Supposedly that was normal. I would still be able to move it and feel things, but it was purple. After a few weeks that stopped. I had 2 physical therapy sessions, and then Corona started, and then I had a cold, which then turned into like allergies. But they told me to stay away. I didn't get any physical therapy during that time. And then we ended up moving. I called every single office I could find in the area here, and the soonest I could get a physical therapy appointment or any kind of doctor appointment was July 7th. So I just recently started physical therapy again. It's going great. I feel like we've improved a little. I can't lift higher than this. I can lift like this, but I can't like, this is as high as it goes out sideways, so I have really, really bad ROM. I've noticed that it has gotten slightly better with physical therapy the past 2 or 3 weeks. Usually they would do a surgery and like manually make it move again, but I'm pregnant, so that's out of the question. Hardware removal was not brought up at all, and I'm not sure if the plate itself is a problem yet. Now I have a good doctor and I have a good physical therapist, and it's looking good. Now I guess I'm gonna answer some questions. So, sleeping is a big thing for me personally. I wasn't able to lie down for a while, about 1.5 to 2 months before I like slightly lounged back and like reclined, but I wasn't able to fully lie down until about the end of April. So sleeping, we moved the mattress into the living room and put it in front of the couch. So I had the couch behind me, I had my pregnancy pillow and my normal pillow, I had blankets folded up under my arm, like behind my arm to like kind of support it. And I basically just sat. It was uncomfortable, it was not fun. A few times I attempted kind of leaning back more and like lowering and sliding forward, but it wasn't very comfortable. But now it's basically all good. I can slightly lay on my stomach again, not 100%, and I can't, I mean, maybe I can, I'm not sure, but I have not had the courage to lay on this arm yet. So 5 months post-op, I have not slept on this side at all. I know one time I like half rolled onto my side, but then I noticed and I was like, oops, nope. But I guess I'm not like ready for that yet. How do you get dressed? So obviously you can't move your arm, especially for the first few weeks. You are not allowed to move it higher than shoulder, like in front of you, you know? So getting dressed, you kind of take your shirt, you put your arm in and then you put your head in, and then you put this arm, and to take your shirts off or sweaters, you take your left arm out and then you slide it over, and then you kind of take it off your arm. The first few weeks I needed help. I could not do it by myself. It was just impossible. Bras. I've seen a lot of people have problems with bras, but me personally, I've always just clipped it in the front, then like turned it and then slid my arms in. Once I was able to, bend my arm a little, I would do that, I guess, and just slide my hand in. It wasn't really difficult. How did I shower? I needed help with that, and since I slipped in the tub, showers were traumatic for me. I was scared. I was terrified of being in the shower. So I did not shower without my husband there, and I usually just held on to something. Showers were not easy. After a while, I was brave enough to do my own hair with my left hand without holding on to anything, but every time I would step in that tub, I would relive the fall all over again, and I would panic, and yeah. So showers the first few weeks were not fun, but they definitely were doable with help. Doing my hair. When I broke my arm, I had really long hair because I was starting to grow it out, so it was like maybe down to here. But you can't really do your hair with just one hand. After a few weeks, maybe like 7 or 8 weeks, I really wanted to put my hair up in a bun by myself. And I remember trying really hard. I even leaned forward. I was on the ground. I was trying to I was doing hair tying gymnastics. I was just not able to get my arm up high enough to, reach my hair. And I was sobbing. There were tears all over the ground, and yeah. So then I just got my hair cut because it's so much easier that way. But now I'm able to do a bun. If I had waited a month, I would be able to do my hair perfectly now, but I cut my hair. I noticed that after my surgery, I lost a lot of hair. I'm assuming because of the painkillers and all the stress. I don't know, but I was just losing hair everywhere. So cutting it was the way to go. I started trying to put my hair up in a bun again 2-3 weeks ago. So maybe half a month, yeah. So about 2 weeks ago, I was able to put my hair up by myself. I also managed to do my makeup a few times with one hand. I wasn't able to lift my arm, so I couldn't reach my face. But I did it with my left hand. I filmed a video. It's kind of funny, so if you want to watch that, it's on my channel. I can link it. That wasn't too difficult. I know I've seen people ask how did you manage, how did you do your makeup, how did you look decent? It's definitely possible to do it with one hand. It's not that hard. I thought it would be a lot more difficult, but once I actually tried it, it was easy. Shaving is also a big thing. I was happy that I shaved before I slipped, so I wasn't a complete hairy monster when I had my surgery, but I don't think I was able to shave my right side for 3 or 4 weeks because I couldn't lean forward enough to get a razor in there. After a few weeks, I was able to lean forward and just let my arm hang, and we kind of got in there with a razor. I used a washcloth, the kind where you can slip your hand inside, and just slid it under there. Obviously I would lean forward and just slide it and soap it, and because you can't get in there. It was the easiest because then the washcloth was everywhere and it could just slide in and out. My physical therapy exercises, as of right now, I do the ones where you slide your hands up on the door or the wall. I slide forward on a counter. I have to slide sideways, and I do my pendulums. That's all the exercises I've gotten for now. So we're still trying to get my shoulder to, I guess, unfreeze. Things you can do for entertainment is also so if you break your dumb anytime, obviously you can't do a lot. I did some puzzling. I read books, which was difficult because if you have thick, heavy books and you can't turn your arm like this, I couldn't do that at first. I was only able to get to here. It got my arm shivering, but yeah, it's hard to hold the book. after a while you kind of get that movement back, because what else can you do really? I wasn't able to change diapers, I wasn't able to do a lot. The first 2 weeks I was just taking so many painkillers. Sometimes when I move my arm to the side, I can feel something slide across my plate, but that's normal. Since I'm pregnant, we can't, they don't do x-rays here, so I don't know how my bone has healed. I just have my x-rays from my 6-week appointment, so I can blend those in. If you have any other questions, or if I skipped anything, just let me know. I'll show you my scar. It's just small, and this is also part of it. It's gotten lighter. I just recently got like a cream for it, but I kind of forget to put it on, and honestly it doesn't bother me. A lot of people I know, they don't like their scars or they feel insecure, but I think it's cool. People ask or look at it funky, I can just be like, yeah, I have a metal plate and screws in my arm. Who cares if I have a scar on my body? So I'm just really positive about it. I'm not like trying to cover it up or feeling insecure about it. It's just a scar, it's just your skin. It'll fade even more. That's pretty much it. I'm doing all right. Arm is improving, and hopefully this time next year I'll be able to use it to at least like 95%. If any of you are going through the same thing, stay strong. You can do this. I know it's a difficult injury, it's a long road to recovery, but just keep up with what your doctors say, what your physical therapist tells you to do, and you should be good. If you're struggling, like many of us do or did, you can always join a support group. There's a really nice one on Facebook. I can link it down below. You can find things you can do that will distract you or make you happy. There's always someone out there who understands what you're going through, or who has or is going through the same thing. So don't be afraid to reach out. There's so many nice people you can talk to. It's honestly the best thing I did, because if I hadn't found that group, I would be so depressed still. Yeah, I would probably cry all the time. So if you are going through it, stay strong. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video.